All right, so just a quick review of my experience with the Tamron SP 24-70 2.8 G2 lens. So I picked this up because I wanted a lens that was good in low light. This has a 2.8 aperture, so definitely it's that. And that had a good zoom range and image stabilization. So 24-70, nice average zoom range. So when I picked this up, I went right from the store to my commercial shoot, which was a low light situation. I had to have a good lens for that, and pulled it right out of the box, snapped it on, and got to work. So everything looked good. I was really impressed with the image quality that I was seeing. The image stabilization was fantastic. It really locked on and held those images when I needed it to. Yeah, and the range is good, so everything was looking fine. But one problem did come up. So when I switched my camera into auto, which I know it's not good to switch your camera into auto for filming or even photography, but sometimes when you're in a run and gun situation, that's your best option. You don't really have time to mess with the settings on the screen or dial in everything just right, fine-tuned to your liking. You just have time to flip the switch and go and grab the shot. So when I did that with this lens, it had a problem locking in on exposure. So when you're in auto and you shift the camera when the lighting is different, it will change exposure like it's supposed to. But what this lens was doing is it would change the exposure, but then act like it changed its mind. And it would go brighter, then it would go darker, go brighter and darker, and it would get stuck in this loop of trying to figure out the right exposure when I would be holding the camera right on the exact same scene. So I've never seen a lens do that before. Really interesting reaction or problem. So I tested it out again after I was done with that shoot a couple of times, and the problem repeated itself. So it wasn't just a one-off random occurrence. Sometimes it would eventually find and stick with an exposure, but other times like this, it would just loop endlessly. Again, this is with a Canon 6D Mark II with some added light on the scene on the top of the camera. So I thought maybe it's something with the camera, maybe it's something with the 6D Mark II. So I switched it to my 80D, because another nice thing about this lens is it works with crop frame sensor Canons as well. So I switched it to the 80D and same thing happened. This time I took the light supplement off as well to see if that made any difference. But it didn't seem to. It seemed to have more of a problem when I was using added light on a scene, as opposed to when I just let the camera do all the work with the light that was already there. But it still had that problem when I wasn't using the light a couple times. So I'm not sure if it's an issue just with this model or this specific lens. Maybe I got one that has a problem, there's other ones that don't have that problem. But I couldn't get any of my other lenses to duplicate that problem with the exact same settings. Same lighting and also in full auto on the camera. So the fact is, the problem's there. That's probably why I'm going to return this lens, which is a little sad because it really is a fantastic lens. I've been really impressed with the images coming out of this and the way the blurred background looks. Here are a few sample images that came straight out of the 6D Mark II, unedited, that I shot with the Tamron. I thought these came out pretty well, and I was disappointed to find that I had accidentally left off my raw image settings, so these were actually a pretty low quality JPEG. Still, you can get an idea without zooming in the kind of image quality you can expect. Good contrast, good sharpness. Especially if you look along the edge of this mountain range, you can really see that sharpness stand out. Just really nice, crisp images. I didn't mean for this to turn into a photo review, but again, I just want to point out that there is a lot to appreciate about this lens. I would like to keep this, but that's just one thing that's going to hold me up, because I bought this lens for run and gun type situations. So I kind of need it to work in auto just in case I have to flick it into that. So that's kind of my story with this lens. Again, beautiful image quality, great stabilization, good range, lots of great reviews on this lens, and I don't disagree with those. It's just that one corner issue that's a really strange problem. So if it wasn't for that one small thing, I'd be really happy with this lens. But still, I think it's gonna go back for now. So a quick update to this review. I did end up returning the lens before I uploaded this video. So when I was at the store, we actually tested that lens on a different 6D Mark II to see if it was a problem with my camera, and it still had the same problem. And we also tested a different lens, well, the same exact brand and model of lens, but we tried that on my camera, on my 6D Mark II, and sure enough, it had the exact same problem. So it wasn't just my lens, it was a consistent problem for that brand and model of lens, at least with the small amount of testing that we did. Again, only a problem if you're trying to film, shoot video in full auto mode. Otherwise, no issues at all with this lens. If I decide I can ever get away from doing that, I will probably pick this lens up again. There's a good chance anyway. Hard to beat that image quality for that price. And that's about all I have to say on that for now. Otherwise, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Those things are appreciated. Glad you got a chance to watch the vid, and thanks for stopping by.